My first sports memory was probably a giant loss with my father, or probably going to Yankee Stadium with my dad and watching Danny Tartable strike out, go 0 for 4, something along those lines. There's so many moments. There's so many moments that you can't. Going back to like I'm 5 years old, but I've been watching sports my whole entire life. Big Giant fan, big Yankee fan. Followed the Knicks my whole entire life. Many good moments, and obviously a lot of bad moments. But first moment, yeah, Giants, Phil Simms. Phil Simms getting hurt in 90 after Week 10 against the 49ers on Monday Night Football. Then Jeff Hostetler taking over. That's a moment I remember when I was really young. I was actually only 6 years old when that happened. But plenty of moments, a lot of good, and unfortunately, a lot of bad.
All right, Mohammed, what is your favorite sports team and why?
Favorite sports team, New York Knicks. Favorite sports team is New York Knicks. And because I played basketball in college, and when I came in this country, the only game that I knew was basketball. My passion for the Knicks. That's what I follow sports for. The Mets and the Bills came later, but the Knicks is my passionate team because I played the game and I just loved the New York Knicks.
All right, how would either of you guys describe yourself as sports fans? I mean, over-the-top fanatical, reasonable, rational. How would you guys describe yourself as fans?
As far as a fan, it's kind of pathetic how I am with the football Giants and the Yankees, but when it comes to radio, I've been in radio for the last 5 years of my life. That's what I do. Well, I'm trying to do. I consider myself a sports realist. I call a spade a spade. If Eli comes out there and throws 4 interceptions, I'll attack Eli. I'll go after him. If the Knicks have a bad night, I'll go after the Knicks. But am I a passionate fan? Absolutely. But I do consider myself a realist. You got to call a spade a spade. The Yankees, big Yankee fan, but call a spade a spade. We spend $230 million. Actually, this year, $208 million. Do we have an unfair advantage against the rest of the teams in baseball? Absolutely. Is it fair? No, it isn't. But you have to call it as you see it.
I will call myself a passionate fan, over-the-board fan on the Knicks, but people has to decide if I'm a realist or not. I cannot decide for myself. People think that I'm rational and realist. But it has to depend on the people. I cannot make a choice about myself. I think myself over the board in the Bills and the Knicks. I am crazy, especially in Knicks. Knicks, I get crazy. I am out of Knicks can feel me terrible forever.
Let me ask you both. Let's start with Mohammed. Do you have a favorite sports movie?
Favorite sports movie? Dark Side.
Talk about it.
I think the Dark Side has, you can call it in a sense that it shows the other side of the sports, and we have to be very realistic about it, that what the athlete goes about in today's generation, and we can come into the media and talk about it, how bad it is. It is very, very hard for an individual athlete to become what he has achieved. So I always am with the players in any type of negotiation regarding, because what they achieve, it is very hard to achieve. What I could not achieve, or what other people cannot achieve, they achieved, and that is what we watch and we pay for to watch it.
I would probably say my favorite sports movie, my favorite movie of all time is probably Rocky IV. It's a boxing movie for those that don't know. It's Sylvester Stallone, it's Rocky, it's the U.S. versus Soviets. That movie had everything. But another movie you could throw out there that you could compare to professional sports would be Any Given Sunday. Any Given Sunday, for one, has the greatest football player of all time, my hero, Lawrence Taylor, in it. And also, it's a football movie that is behind the scenes, and you kind of see what professional football is almost like. It's not exactly to that point, but you can kind of see. So I would say either Rocky IV or Any Given Sunday.
All right, one final. You said you played college basketball?
No, I did not play college basketball. I played with Like I was in Medgar College when I went there. I played with the practice team. I was not good enough to play.
Okay, I was wondering where you, maybe St. John's. I may have missed you. As you went
No,
there.
I was not that good. I was very good in playing cricket when back in the country. I used to play cricket, but basketball I wasn't that good.
I was very good at Nerf basketball. Bruce, you play any Nerf basketball as a kid? Yeah. All right, let's get started. And guys, just when you do your rant, just talk right into the microphone as you can, because as you can tell, it's a little bit loud in the room. So we're going to start out with Vincent. Vincent, you're on the clock. 2 minutes to do your rant. Let's hear from you.
Okay. I'm going to get into a poll that came out about a month ago. That is a poll by the NFL players. They came out with a top 100 list. Of course, you have your usual suspects. Tom Brady up top, Peyton Manning number 2, Aaron Rodgers was actually 11, which I found kind of odd. But this list kind of hit it home. New York's very young Eli Manning, he doesn't crack the top 100. And I don't have a problem necessarily with him not cracking the top 100, but the fact of the matter is this. You're going to have the likes of Josh Freeman, Matty Ice, Joe Flacco, Tony Big Game Romo, and let's not forget number 100 on the list, Donovan McNabb, who halfway through the season gets benched for Rex Grossman. You're going to have those names ahead of Eli Manning. I'm personally sick and tired of the treatment Eli gets in this town. If you win a championship in this town, you're supposed to be golden. I think we forget a couple of years ago what Eli did, and I think the media tends to forget that, and the supposed experts forget that. Eli Manning, since he entered into the league, he entered with some baggage. He refused to play with the San Diego Chargers. He is Peyton Manning's younger brother, but what he has done in this league, he's done nothing but win. His first full season as a starter, 11-5. He has 2 seasons at 10-6, one of which the Giants go on a Super Bowl run. Another season, this past season at 10-6, 2 8-8 seasons, and one of those 8-8 seasons, the Giants had probably the worst defense of all time in their history. So let's look at Eli Manning and let's look at his situation compared to other situations. He doesn't get to play in sunny California. He doesn't get to play 8 home games in a dome like one Drew Brees or his brother Peyton Manning. And it's not just the media, it's not just the experts, it's idiotic Giant fans that continue to throw Eli Manning under the bus. I have 3 names for you. 1 is Dave Brown, 2 is Danny Cannell, and 3 is Kent Graham. Right there, enough is said. Let's leave Eli Manning alone, and let's finally consider him an elite quarterback in this league. Thank you.
We'll ask you a question or two, and then we'll do your rant. You gave us 2 minutes on the Giants. Give us 30 seconds on the Jets.
Okay, well, the Jets, they're coming off 2 years in a row, AFC Championship. Listen, they will go as far as Mark Sanchez takes them. He's young. He kind of has that Tony Romo effect to him. He isn't necessarily the best passer in the pocket, but it's those plays that he makes outside the pockets. He has a ton of talent around him. We'll see if the Jets are able to keep both Braylon Edwards and Santonio Holmes. I personally think they're going to keep Santonio Holmes, and don't be surprised if they replace Braylon Edwards with Plaxico Burress. I definitely see that happening. Rex Ryan, personally, I'm not a fan of his. He has a big mouth, but he has that defense up and coming. They're ready to go every single week. Expect the Jets, again, to be a big-time team and to be a force. And if you're a Jet fan and if you're a Giant fan, you're looking forward to Christmas when the Jets and Giants get it on, and they will be a legitimate contender again.
Changing the subject, baseball.
Anything in baseball?
No, Carlos Beltran. Where will he wind up and why?
Okay, Carlos Beltran, you're here in the Atlanta Braves, you're here in the Philadelphia Phillies. I think the Boston Red Sox will wind up getting him. They have the pitching prospects to bring him in, to lure him in. I don't see the Mets trading within their division. Boston really needs help in the outfield. You know, J.D. Drew, he's been an absolute bust since he signed there. I can see him definitely switching gears, going to the American League. He can play the outfield. He can DH. And, you know, they went out. In this past offseason, it was all about offense. They bring in Adrian Gonzalez. They bring in Carl Crawford. If they bring in Carlos Beltran, that is the finishing touch. The Mets will get rid of him.
All right, I want to ask you a question about your rant.
Okay.
You talk about Eli not getting respect in this city. I think in this city he does get respect. It's around the country. You look at, say, SI does a poll on players. He's often regarded as one of the most overrated players. And
Yes.
that poll on the NFL Network was players and coaches. It wasn't necessarily fans. Why do you think outside of New York, Eli isn't respected?
Well, for one, Eli was the highest paid player in football, so he's going to have that same negative effect that A-Rod had, making a monster contract. And also, he's Peyton's younger brother, and he is a quarterback for a New York team. And right off the bat, you're going to be behind. You're going to be behind everyone else. And the fact of the matter is this: he came into the league with baggage. He refused to play for San Diego, and right off the bat, people didn't like that. He kind of came off arrogant, but it wasn't necessarily him. More so his father Archie, and he's Peyton's younger brother. But people, they don't give him the benefit of the doubt. He is a legitimate quarterback, and we're very quick to pick Big Ben. We're very quick to pick Phillip Rivers. We're very quick to pick Drew Brees. But the problem that I have, these supposed experts, I don't know if they're necessarily sitting down and physically watching the games. Watch every pass some of these quarterbacks make. Eli Manning, he's in Kevin Gilbride's system, which is probably the most complex system in all of football. And he doesn't have that tight end like an Antonio Gates. He has Kevin Boss, who catches 20 balls a season. He doesn't have a Reggie Bush coming out of the flats catching 80 to 90 passes. No, he has... Okay.
All right, no, that's very, very well done. Thank you, Vincent, very much. Next, with his rant, Mohammed, let's hear from you. And as I said, right into that microphone.
Okay. Good evening, guys. This is Mohammed Omar Qureshi. I'm going to talk today about the Carlos Beltran. The way we are hearing about Carlos Beltran in the media, that he is about to get traded. Listen, guys, as a New York Mets fan, and everybody that's a Mets fan or a New York fan should understand what the Mets has gone through in last 5 or 6 years. Okay, the Beltran, every time you talk about Beltran, strike out looking. That's what he get a rash from the media right here. And the way he has performed this year, a contract year, everybody in the media has trashed him. And whenever a sports athlete came from the dark ages of the media and the trashing of the media and came on the top in New York City, that's what I called an athlete and a player. Carlos Beltran has came from the ashes of death and rose in New York City. I don't want Carlos Beltran to be traded. I want it to be, but now, after seeing what he has done this year and the way he is dictating everybody as a young teammates and everybody loves him, I want Carlos Beltran to stay here. What happened? Oh, we are not going to get a prospect? When do you get 100% chance that we're going to get a very good prospect? We are never sure. Carlos Beltran, we know if he's healthy, he can be an all-star. With Jose Reyes and Carlos Beltran, we have a backbone that we can compete next year and down the road. And then the Mets has to understand this. Jose Reyes and Carlos Beltran can do wonders for New York Mets, and the Mets fan has seen it these years that they have shown in last 2 days, goes to the Citi Field today, 100-degree temperature, and go to the Citi Field to show their love for Carlos Beltran and Jose Reyes. So call 1-877-361-6666.
All right, let me ask you about this that you're talking about. So the Mets don't trade Carlos Beltran. You know what their budget issues are, right? And they talk about it. Carlos Beltran's in his walk year. Mm-hmm. Do you think that if the Mets were to think about re-signing him, he's going to perform at this level when he's 35, 36, 37, or might they ultimately be better off trying to get a prospect or two?
The thing is, I don't believe in prospect. Yes, I believe in prospect, but we are not sure every time the prospect has turned out to be. Pelfrey, when he was supposed to be the great thing, and in last 3 or 4 years, what he has turned out to be. The thing about Carlos Beltran, yes, Mets have financial problems, but the financial problems is how the financial problems can be solved if the crowd shows up. The money is... if the Mets crowd is going to go to the Citi Field, you're going to generate revenue. That's how it is. If the Mets fan, you go trade Carlos Beltran, Jose Reyes, you are not going to see any Mets fan going to the Citi Field. So to make Carlos Beltran sign as a free agent, you have to generate revenue. And Carlos Beltran and Jose Reyes can generate revenue, as we see today, 100-degree temperature, almost 30,000 people showed up last night.
All right, Mohammed, good energy. You don't even need the microphone. But feed the beast a little bit. NBA, Knicks. Are you a believer in D'Antoni?
I always believe in Rick Carlisle, and I have a speculation about Dan Antonio, but I always believe one thing. Rick Carlisle, when that incident, the fight happened at Detroit, and the mayhem that was, and Rick Carlisle was fired the next year, and Detroit was about to go to the Indiana verge of the champion. Indiana was about to go to the championship, and they lost that series. After that, when he got signed, I always said that Rick Carlisle is a very good coach, and he got the chances. The same thing with Dan Antonio. When Stoudemire was suspended for Game 7 against San Antonio, and he was blowing past by Tim Duncan at that year. He was blowing past that series, and he didn't play in the 7-game series, and they were about to on the verge or go to the NBA Finals, and he never got the chance after that. So he get a little bit rational because the New York fans always talk about defense. I understand, but today's game has changed. As Isaiah Thomas put it too, that today's game has changed and it has become more athletic. So we have to play faster, and because he takes too many shots, there are faults in Dan Antonio, but I think he's still capable with great shooting touch and the players that we are getting. He's capable of winning an NBA championship.
All right, Mohammed, thank you very much, guys. Thank you.